In this video, I do a first impressions and review of the YI Lite action camera, a super cool budget action camera packed with some pretty neat features. Coming up. Hey, what's up guys? Sean here with Thinkpedia, bringing you the best tips and tools for building your influence with online video. And on this channel, we do tips and strategy videos as well as tech gear reviews just like this one. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. And hey, at any point during the video, check out show notes and links in the description below. We'll list out all of the gear that I talk about as well as anything else that I forget. Let's jump into the video. So YI recently launched the YI Lite, an update to the original YI camera, and added some new features and some pretty cool things, so let's dive into them. First of all, like many of the other YI cameras, you've got an awesome Sony sensor inside of the camera, which will give you 1080p 60 frames per second video. It also does 4K at, I believe, 15 frames a second, but that's kind of unusable in any video setting. So it's really a 1080p camera. And then you also can do 16 megapixel photos. And so that 1080p footage is great because you can not only just get footage like this, but then you can also just slow it down with that 60 frames for some really cool slow motion shots. You also have built-in EIS, and they're really promoting this feature. That's electronic image stabilization. And this feature is kind of nice, but we noticed some kind of warble with the image stabilization. So check out this test with no image stabilization. Okay, so right now we are doing 1080p 60 frames, but we turned off the electronic image stabilization.
Turn that off.
No gimbal, handheld. And so let's see the difference when the EIS is turned on just on this selfie stick. Now we're at 1080p 60 frames a second, handheld on the selfie stick, no gimbal, and EIS is turned on. So you can see the difference between when EIS is off and when it's on. A little bit of road noise too. You're hearing the onboard mics of the YI Lite right now. Okay, so as you saw from that clip, it definitely removes the shake, but personally, I'm not a huge fan of the EIS feature because it kind of creates some bend and some warping in the shot. Now, I actually think this is fine maybe for most people. If you definitely, maybe it's superior to really shaky, vibrating footage, but just something to consider. And you can see from some of these clips, and you just notice like in the background, it just kind of bends the shot. But the cool thing about this feature is that you can turn it on and off. And so if you want to just shoot it without the EIS on, which back when I used the original YI Original, we shot a whole video, and I'll actually link to the description of what the footage on this looked like if you want to compare it to this. We'll put on the YouTube card as well. But I actually like it kind of without the EIS, but a feature you definitely need to know about. Next up, you've got the 150-degree wide-angle lens with an aperture of f2.8, making this a pretty decent action camera for low light. And so we did some low light tests. Now again, in fact, all action cameras never do that great in low light. The YI Lite is decently impressive, and that definitely helps to have that Sony sensor, the f2.8 lens, but where most action cameras thrive, including this one, is gonna be in bright sunlight, or just in pretty much daylight where there's plenty of light. And that's true for other brands as well, that generally you want a lot of light for most action cameras. Now, one of the newest, biggest features of the YI Lite is this back touchscreen. And so the original YI didn't have that. So you were left up to either using the app on your phone or just, getting a ballparking where you thought the shot was and then seeing how it looked later. So the screen is great, and YI also has put a new processor in here. And so the screen moves relatively fast. It's a little bit slower than some of the higher end YI models that cost a little bit more, but it has plenty of speed, very responsive, and YI has really kind of best in class touchscreen functionality, no quirkiness that I've noticed. So that's really great. And it is Gorilla Glass on the back there, which is supposed to be kind of a little bit scratch proof and break proof. And we actually have already dropped this camera once.
3, 2, go ahead.
Totally survived, and so good report there. All right, next up is Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, and YI has always seemed to have best-in-class Wi-Fi connectivity. It connects up fast, works with their app. It's really great, and this is dual band, so it'll take advantage of both 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz, meaning you could have download speeds up to 50 megabytes a second to pull photos off of here, videos off of here, and it'll seamlessly connect with your smartphone and have a range of, they say, up to 330 feet away. And then Bluetooth is also great as well. And one of my favorite accessories for the YI camera is the selfie stick that they make, not just because the selfie stick is really well made, but it comes with the included Bluetooth remote. That also syncs up really quickly, and then you can just easily, you know, shoot selfie shots without having to set a timer right off the selfie stick. And the Bluetooth remote works up to 10 meters away. So if you wanted to do a group shot and set the camera up for some sort of a group photo and use the Bluetooth remote, super cool accessory. And then finally, I always recommend for any YI camera, and that is the YI app. It's a great app. It's easy to use, easy to grab your photos, your videos, or even operate your camera. And one thing I haven't used in it, but it's a cool feature that they've been building out, is that you can also edit videos. You can add music, add titles, and make little micro pieces of content. This is something that I want to get into more in the future, because when we're on the road, when we're traveling, we like to shoot content on cameras like this and then be able to put together, you know, like little mini videos for like Facebook or Instagram or even Twitter video, just like mini videos kind of like showing things off. And so having an app like that that can do that is awesome. As far as the audio goes, there's no mic input, but all of the audio is on board on the microphones built into the camera. And here's what the audio sounds like. So what's pretty cool is that you're seeing the YI just on the selfie stick right now with the EIS on, no gimbal. So if you kind of wanted to vlog, just have it out there like this. You're hearing the audio, we're out here, super cool sunset. What do you think, babe?
I think it's about to be a sandstorm.
Now, when it comes to battery life, YI rates this at 130 minutes of runtime shooting 1080p 60 frames per second video. Now that's pretty good, and I'd have to say I haven't tested that fully, but on the other YI models, their battery life has been impressive on all the models across the board. So I wouldn't expect the YI Lite to be anything less than that. I do recommend investing in some extra batteries for long shoot days, and there's a particular kit that I like from Newmow that comes with a 3 battery charger. So I'll throw a link to that in the description below. And that's just if you plan on doing really long shoot days, it's always awesome to have extra batteries. Additionally, there's a lot of shooting modes. You can take photos, there's the photo timer mode, you can take photo bursts, then you have your video mode, a time-lapse feature. I always love that. If you just want to prop the camera up anywhere, put it on time-lapse mode, and then let it just put that time-lapse together for you. A slow motion mode, also a loop mode. I believe you could use that if you wanted to use this camera as a dash cam, and then a couple other modes as well. So it's packed with a lot of different features and modes for creating photo, video content, and time lapses. And the YI Lite also comes in green, black, or blue with a very stylish design overall. But what is the investment when it comes to the YI Lite? Well, at the time of shooting this video, it comes in at around $100 here in the US on Amazon, and there could be a couple specials going on. So if there's any specials or anything, I'll link those in the description below, and you can read more details about those. But again, a budget action camera for sure, and relatively stacked with features for that price point. Now, a few notes and some things to mention about accessories. Number one, the YI Lite is not waterproof, but you can always grab a waterproof case from YI. And so I'll link this up in the description below if you were planning on submerging this underwater. And then one of the things I recommend the most, I already mentioned in this video, is the selfie stick and the Bluetooth remote. Such a good combo with this camera or any YI action camera. And then finally, the YI gimbal is pretty awesome. And so in this video, some of the clips that you'll see were actually shot on the YI gimbal. What's nice is that it's a gimbal that works across the board, whether it was from the original YI, the YI 4K, the YI Lite, just a solid gimbal to give you really stable footage. And I have a whole video about that particular gimbal, so we'll link that up on the YouTube card as well. All right, but I'm sure you want to see some test footage, and we've already shared a few clips. But as far as our test initially, we just kind of took it out in a couple different scenarios. One, we're kind of running around. Again, this is with the YI gimbal, and we did have the EIS on. And I mentioned earlier that it has that kind of warp effect. I actually think this footage looks pretty good. As you can see, the gimbal stabilization makes it look pretty awesome. This is 1080p at 60 frames a second, and so really smooth motion, but you can also slow the footage down, which is really nice. And then I also took it out just kind of with my wife Sonia at sunset and even kind of towards the nighttime, and tested it out, whether just gimbal or even off the gimbal, just kind of walking around, took some photos out. These are also some pretty low light photos. And so I think they all look pretty good. I think the results turn out great, especially considering, you know, what this is. It's a $100 action camera with some really great results. And then here when it really was nighttime, you could definitely see the footage gets kind of a little grainy. And that's pretty typical, right? That's how most action cameras respond in really low light conditions, and actually just kind of most cameras in general, unless you really start spending higher dollars and getting really good glass and lenses. But all in all, the footage that we're seeing from the YI camera was great. So as far as my final thoughts go, I think that the YI Lite is a very fun and cool action camera, and really a great deal at around $100. I think YI wanted to have it at that budget place in the market, and they've done a great job with that. I think that maybe this would be a good camera for, you know, gift ideas. Maybe somebody's just getting into using action cameras, or maybe even you personally wanted to just start with an action camera. We can have some fun, take it with you traveling, and get some cool looking footage, take some cool photos in that action camera style. But one thing I would say is that if you can stretch your budget, I would definitely recommend the YI 4K camera. I think that at $90 more, so not even quite double the price. This again is about $100 here in the US. The YI action camera at the time of shooting this video is $190. And I think that it's totally worth it if you can make the stretch. That personally, I think, is one of the best all-around action cameras that there is when you add up the price, all the features that you get and things like that. But you be the judge. In fact, we have an entire series where we're reviewing the various YI models. So I'll link that up on the YouTube card in the description below, so you can compare some of those videos potentially with this one to maybe help you make the decision. Question of the day. What do you think about the YI Lite action camera, and how do you think it fits in YI's overall lineup of cameras, as well as compared to other brands? Let me know what you think in the YouTube comments below. So thanks for checking out this video. Subscribe for more videos just like this to see our entire series reviewing pretty much every camera YI's put out. You can see that playlist here, as well as another Think Media video here. Until next time, Think Media is bringing you the best tips and tools for building your influence with online video. Keep crushing it, and we will talk soon.